My name is Emilia Sofeska. I'm an engineer of architecture and a Master of Science in Architecture and Urbanism in the field of sustainable urban planning. Currently, I'm training teacher for building physics and energy efficient buildings and renovations for IUREM Macedonia. Today, I'm going to introduce you with my research work, Understanding the Livability in a City through Smart Solution and Urban Planning toward Developing a Sustainable Livable Future of the City of Skopje. The research refers to the city of Skopje, the capital of the Republic of Macedonia. We are generation that lives in the first urban century and our understanding the city should be changed in order to obtain sustainability, resilience, but most of all livability. Citizens are those who define city nowadays, but creating livable cities in the future should consist of smart urban solutions. The main interest of this research is developing sustainable, livable city of Skopje, as it is the most important and biggest city in the Republic of Macedonia. Cities are dominant environment for living and working. They are followed by an intensive degradation, destruction, pollution and overpopulation, so livability or quality of life in the city has become crucial. This work gives understanding of the livability in a city through sustainable and green urban development by taking into focus urban structure, urban energy, urban mobility, urban climate, and urban smart technology. Those findings should be used in pilot projects for urban development of the city of Skopje. By thinking of sustainable urban future, we think about Brundtland quote. Sustainable development is development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. So, the questions that we ask are, how to urbanize in harmony with society, economy and environmental, and how to balance our short-term needs with the long-term demands that have to obtain livable conditions for our future generations. For achieving the aim of livable city, planning should take care of the climate, nature, and territorial elements. Citizens need to feel peace of natural-made entities in their urban jungle of artificial structures in order to feel alive and satisfied. Today, we are talking about multi-million cities and increasing the global networking. Contemporary development of the cities is dealing with society that is moving from and to the cities on the different continents, and it was earlier between cities or rural in one region or between neighbor countries. In the 21st century, the urban development is relocated to the Middle East, Asia, and South America, where are located today's fastest growing megacities in the world. We are talking about the cities like Tokyo, Shanghai, New Delhi, Mexico City, Sao Paulo, and Tessera. Those new multi-million cities are growing now not only in their density but also territorially, so now planning should provide new solutions for effective and energy-efficient urban transport and sustainable design of the urban structure. Skopje is an urban agglomeration with a large concentration of population and functions. In terms of physical, functional and demographic growth, it has above average pace of development in the region. Skopje is extremely important transport center on the crossroads of international corridors. But where is Skopje on the map of planning livable future cities? If we make a rich picture of what is Skopje today, we may see that a city with such a scale faced with logical problems in terms of transport infrastructure, air pollution, inefficient use of energy, but also with numerous of social problems. More than that, Skopje has its own problems related to unplanned building and building procedures outside the regulations. Skopje is demographic centralized city as a result of previous centralized development in the country and strong migration policy. Cities' economy is in transition and the majority of new business are small businesses. This situation gives a positive mood when it comes to employment. Today, one-third of the total industry in the country is concentrated in Skopje, which is the reason for the increase of population. Skopje is characterized by a diverse structure of residential font, and 45% of the territory is covered by residential buildings. The projected development in the future will increase the intensity of use of urban land, and the greatest densities is reasonable to be expected in the downtown that has a high value of urban land and as well as high dynamics and public interest. The average daily mobility of the inhabitants of the city of Skopje is 2.11 trips per capita. The plan suggests a traffic network in the city with a radial concentric system of roads with a bus system for public transportation in the city. Upgraded rail transport could play a significant role in the organization and in completing the network of suburban transport in the city of Skopje. Cities may planning their sustainable development by setting buildings with low energy consumption, diverse land use, population density, and with a level of construction that provides economic provision of using heat and cooling services and waste disposal. Priority is given to transport strategies, pedestrian and bicycle movement, and strong promotion of the use of efficient public transport. Building the new urban entity must be recognized by networking of Internet of Things as a base for smart urban solutions. It is necessary to build innovative methods and instruments for a dynamic city management. As it comes to the level of development and limits of growth in the Skopje, there are lots of urban land that is unused, 50% of the city's land, which provides an opportunity for future growth without expanding the city limits. The swelling of the city limits may include a great deal of unused and devastated land. This situation can be used in favor of sustainable development for building without being destroyed green spaces that exist in the city. When it comes to the purposes of space and use of land in Skopje, in order to ensure sustainable development, is necessary to complete the function of the regional centers in order to satisfy the principle of decentralization of purposes and ability to reduce citizens to travel to meet their needs for everyday life. In Skopje, there is no part of the city where density is in sustainable limits. The neighborhoods that are most distant from the downtown are characterized by the greatest density. Due to the condition of unsustainable distribution of density in urban structures, Skopje needs increased density or compactness in its downtown. Main vehicle in Skopje is a car, which makes the city completely unsustainable in its behavior when it comes to the traffic and transportation. Skopje's traffic networks are designed for a capacity of 5 people per car. Automobile traffic in Skopje reached limits of concerns. Air pollution is above the permissible limits and there is noise and disorganization of traffics. Traffic delays are also common and mostly in the downtown area. The problem with parking spaces is expected because are planned for a capacity of 3.8 inhabitants per vehicle or 1.3 vehicles for every family in Skopje. Sustainable transport in Skopje can be seen through use pedestrian transport in 33.5% and public transport with 34% of the total transport in the city. Future managing of the city will be provided by use of urban smart solution together with a living lab citizens approach. Togetherness and openness understanding the citizen needs. Thereby, the crowdsources takes an important part of the planning of future livable cities. Livability is a characteristic that is hard to define. It is impossible to measure the quantity of the quality of urban life. As you may see, there is several levels of quality of life in the city. Cities has different stage of attractiveness and a different stage of livability. Frequency of change of the urban structure, building models, but also quality and quantity of upgrades, reconstructions, etc. are providing recognizable and aesthetic elements in the city. This is preservation of the urban matrix and most importantly, the existence or creations of place in the city where people want to live. A livable city is one where people like to live and can afford to live. There are many criteria that define livability of a city, and the criteria are different for different persons according to their personality, cultural and national background, tradition, and expectations. Urban development couldn't be based on standardized models. There are two spatial models for sustainable urbanization: polycentric urban development and developing the compact cities. Skopje has all the conditions to develop decentralized due to the large influx of population. Polycentric urban model should include decentralization of economic activities in the settlements. Skopje, in its polycentric development, should be designed according to development scenarios for different needs. Compactness in Skopje would be practically important to create urbanity for abounded, devastated and unused spaces in the downtown. The model of compactness in Skopje can be implied because there is a historical core of the center which reinforces social activities and meetings of people, what is, on the other hand, a characteristic part of the mentality of the population in Skopje. Meetings and informal gatherings are part of the local culture and city's picture, especially related to the public open spaces. Skopje, in the social and livable sense, is a live and warm city, and compactness will future emphasize the use of parks, squares, streets, and walking areas for city residents. Greenery in the urban environment suggests a connections with the bioregion. It provides hygienic conditions and plays an important biological role in the city. If green is present by parks or garden, it can have aesthetic value and social role and positively influence on physiological functions in humans. City can regain their connections with bioregion in two ways. The first is cultural, by daily interactions with parks, urban farms, permacultures, and green architecture. The second way is physical, by designing with the greenery. This means greenery to be an integral part of the city superstructure and be included with the urban blocks, zone for recreations and sport, rest areas, as a green design in architecture. According to the analysis of the total urban greenery, there is 14.54 meters square of greenery per capita in Skopje. Expect preservation, cleaning, arranging of those natural resources in order to encourage sustainable development. It is necessary to increase the green area in the city with new avenues, parks, squares, especially in polluted areas outside the downtown area. In today's cities, almost every citizen have easy access to the internet through different types of devices. In the same time, those citizens generate large amounts of data which are basically real-time data. By storage, display and use of amount of real-time data, city become informational organism which produce information and become information. By that mean, there are visible and invisible information in the city. Visible information is all urban structures that define space: buildings, traffic, people, vegetation, lights. Invisible information is produced by a citizen and constantly flow of data which may be localized or are connected to the some city's processes like transportation, for example. With this part, cities expand its borders not territorially but virtually. Invisible city may not be planned with the traditional methods of urban planning. It is completely depending on real-time data and the opportunity to become open data. Methodology for using data in urban designing integrates the techniques in a real design scenario. Smart cities use smart technology to solve problems that will enable sustainable development. Many cities have begun the process of using smart technologies in traffic, energy use, solving pollution problems, social activities, and etc. But there are those who designed, planned, and developed from the beginning as a completely new smart cities. Smart technologies provides many opportunities for development but also open doors for abuse and unethical behavior, which is certainly a challenge we have to face humanity in its future development. The core of the smart city is composed by citizen, infrastructure and technology along with the database, entrepreneurship and innovation, strategy and city government, education and inclusiveness. The smart city could be self-regulated complex system that includes all the elements of each state of its development, and that is what keeps the city as a self-sustainable system. The pilot project Skopje Smart City should initiate series of innovations and raise smart activities in the city. The first pilot project concerns information for passengers in public transportation in real time along with the free Wi-Fi internet in city buses. The buses are connected to the sensors via GPS, Wi-Fi and interactively communicate with the panels and the bus stops by sharing information in the real time for position of the buses. This internet platform needs to be enlarged with mapping traffic jams and similar everyday problems by actively participation from citizens that are on the traffics. The making of bicycle paths in Skopje passed as an urban art project, but by clear demands of the bicycle riders, along with the urban planners and other traffic engineers, may have ended project that cycling would gain greater significance to linear developed cities such as Skopje. Also, important project would be placing sensors on parking spaces in Skopje. Through online application, every driver can have access to the map with planning parking spaces in Skopje and data that parking spaces are free at the moment. An interesting project would be the formation of urban eco-gardens with smart technology irrigation. One of the conditions for acquiring land is the obligation to treat the gardens in accordance with the standards of organic farming. Urban gardens are a form of economic, environmental, cultural and social challenges to the local population, and they also offering space for socializing and interaction, self-care, learning, creating a form of social and cultural community. Every system defines a set of objects acting together as a part of whole. Urban systems are large and complex and contain buildings, infrastructure, landscape, water and other elements as its parts. In the end, it becomes clear that cities which can implement smart solutions and which are tending to develop it through livable and sustainable future are those that have a stable city government, efficient public-private partnerships, those that are not corrupt, and those that have a strong involvement in civil society. Thank you for your attention.